G'day guys, what is going on? Welcome to a new episode. Hope you guys are all doing well. Today the S14 is getting rack spaces installed because the tie rods aren't long enough to reach the inner hole in the gktech roll correction kit. If you guys remember me installing this on my S14. And an awesome bloke by the name Mr. Super hit me up on my Instagram saying he had 3 rack spaces laying around. He didn't need them anymore. Thank you very much for giving me this part, because now I can put this onto my rack, extend my tie rods long enough to reach the inner hole on the roll correction kit, and we'll get some more angle. I'm going to show you guys how to install this as well, and hopefully achieve some more angle. Then we're going to get a wheel alignment, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to do that some other time. And when you install these rack spaces, your wheel is going to be crooked. So I'll show you guys how to realign your steering wheel, show you guys how to center your rack with the rack spacer. I'm just going to quickly go into the car, get everything ready, and I'll show you guys how to take the tie rod off the rack and how to install these rack spacers. I can't tell you guys enough how much I hate working under the car in the bloody driveway. I'm so over doing this shit. I just wish I had a hoist. But anyway, what you want to do is, I'll try to fit the camera under here with me under it. You're going to take this rubber boot off. It sits over here, protects the rack. And you're going to take off this locking pin right here. You just grab a flat head and just pop it out. And then you're going to grab a wrench, chuck it around the tie rod right there, and then we're going to loosen this off. So that's how you take it off. You just twist this loose and it'll pop straight off. Same side with the other side. There's a lot of fucking fluid on that shit right there. Look how much room I have, like between like my head and the bottom of the car. This is how much room I've got to work with. I need a hoist. So what you guys are gonna do, you're gonna grab your wrench, put it in there, then grab the hammer, hold this up and just bash the bottom of it till this part comes loose like that. And then what you do is you just untwist this tie rod out like this. It should pop straight out, and then we're going to put the rack spacer on this side. So this is the passenger side, so the rack spacer will be going on this side. There we go. Out it comes. We'll just give this inside a bit of a clean, then we'll clean the threads up as well. And what you do is make sure to grab some thread locker, put it on the threads of the rack spacer, and then we'll screw it back in. And then you grab the rack spacer, and then you put it inside the rack like this, and then tighten it in. Once you're done tightening the rack spacer onto the rack, we're going to go to the other side, put the slip-on space on the tie rod, connect it back in the rack, and then what we're going to do is we're going to center the steering rack, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So what you guys are going to do is you're going to grab the slip-on spacer on the driver's side tie rod. You're just going to slip it on like this, and then we'll tighten it back in, and then we're going to center the rack before we put them onto the roll correction kit. Hopefully they extend them out long enough so we can use the inner hole here because it's more aggressive for drifting. Next step, you're going to get a measuring tape, and we're going to measure the rack. So we're going to measure where the rack spacer sits to the rack. Make sure it sits at 8 centimeters right there, which is 80 millimeters. So it needs to be 80 millimeters on each side. So I'll show you guys that now. So from the rack there, you can see, oh god damn it. From there to the rack spacer, it's sitting on 8 centimeters, which is 80 millimeters. So make sure to do the same thing on the other side. So I'll show you guys that now. On the rack right there, and where the spacer ring is, should read 8. It's what we're getting right now. If you guys can see that, it's all hard doing this with one hand. So once you've got the rack centered with 80 millimeters on each side, you're gonna notice the steering wheel is crooked. And to fix that, we're gonna have to remove the boss kit, but I don't have a boss kit remover. I thought I had one, but I don't anymore. I'm gonna pop this out and recenter it, and then bring the steering wheel back to straight. So all you have to do is take the boss kit out and realign it. That's that simple. But yeah, it will sit crooked with the rack spacers. Next step is to grab your tie rod end and insert it into the inner hole of the roll correction kit right there. So hopefully the rack spacers extended this enough out to reach the inner hole there. So let's find out. About time that I'm finally using the inner hole on the roll correction kit. Look at that. It did actually extend the tie rod out long enough to reach onto the inner hole. I'm so happy with that now. And I also forgot to mention, with the tie rod end, make sure to chuck some thread locker on it as well when you tie it up to the rack spacer too, so it doesn't vibrate loose. So let's see if this side fits into the inner hole. Hell yeah guys, we're finally using the aggressive hole on the roll correction kit from gktech. The rack spaces actually did help. So if you guys are going to get a roll correction kit for your S chassis, make sure to get rack spaces because the tie rod isn't going to be long enough to fit. If you've got longer tie rods, that's fine, but if you don't have longer tie rods like me, just get yourself a rack spacer. They're like $36 off gktech. I'm so lucky that I got this free off Mr. Soupy, so thank you very much, because now I get to use the inner hole on the roll correction kit. Next thing to do is I've got to raise my coilovers. If you can see here, I don't think these coilovers are going to raise that much any more higher, so this is probably the max I'm going to get, maybe about 12 mil out of that. The reason why I got to raise my car up is because when you put the roll correction kit, it actually lowers your car so much. I didn't realize how much my car slammed at the front to the point where I couldn't even get the jack underneath the car anymore. And the wheels are pretty much hitting up against the wheel arch because it's sitting so low. So that being said, coilovers are going to have to go as high as they can. And with your tie rods, make sure you put thread locker because you don't want the vibration coming off, because if you're doing like high speed entries and you're drifting and that tie rod pops off, you are screwed. So make sure to put some thread locker, make sure you fit everything back correctly. With the wheel alignment stuff, just make sure that you've got the wheels on either side just dead straight as you can, because you're going to get a wheel alignment anyway. So drive to the tire shop and they'll sort out the wheel alignment for you and it'll be all sorted. And what I've done is I've grabbed the measuring tape, I've measured the other side. These are both the exact same. And another technique you can do is just count the threads here. So there are 13 threads along down here. And the same thing for the other side right here, 13 threads along down here. So I've used the measuring tape on both sides. They're both the same length. So now I can put the wheel back on, drop the car down. Actually wait, I've got to put the rubber boots back on, holy crap. When you put the rubber boots back on, make sure to use zip ties. So just zip tie the rubber boot back to where it was. Alright guys, now that I've raised my coilovers up in the car, it's time to put the wheels back in the car. Hopefully when I lower the car down, it doesn't hit up against anything. And now that I've put the rack spaces in, make sure you tighten everything up. Make sure you use thread locker. Make sure the rubber boots are back where they belong. Make sure everything is tight, because the last thing you want is a tie rod to pop out while you're out driving or drifting. So let's put the wheels back in my car and drop the car down. So once you put the wheels back on, just check it over. So if you can see here, so that's a bit of toe out. So let's go to the other side. This side doesn't have that much toe out, it's more flush looking. But it doesn't matter, because once you go to the tire shop, they're going to do a wheel alignment anyway. So just make sure that it's drivable and you'll be fine. Just chuck the car on the ground and have a look at that. The coilovers did raise up high enough just for it to clear, so I'm actually happy with this, because I'm going to be running side skirts. So when I put the side skirts in, they're probably going to sit about down somewhere here. So I'll see how high I can tuck them up on these two holes here, but we'll worry about that another time. But for now, I'll just leave it like this, as I said, because I want to get the side skirt and I want to see how much I can lower the car before the side skirt ends up hitting the ground and breaks. Alright, I'm going to start the car and turn the wheels and see how much angle we made by using the more aggressive hole in the roll correction kit from gktech. Hell yeah, man, look at that. Look at the angle we made by using the inner hole in the roll correction kit. That is so good. Damn. Now this is going to make drifting so much fun. I can't wait for the next track event. As soon as there's a next track event around my town, I'm entering and I'm going to try out the new roll correction kit, because I am so happy with this angle right now. The rack spaces were definitely worth it. Thank you Mr. Soupy for giving me those rack spaces. Now I can get some more angle out of my S14. Sorry for the ticking noise, it's my injectors. I've maxed out the stock injectors. So this is what it looks like on the other side. So you can tell it made a massive difference, man. So I'm going to turn the wheel the other way and show you guys this side. You can even see on this side the massive difference it made as well. Look at that, guys. This is going to be so good for drifting. If you come to the other side, the same thing on the other side as well. More poke in. So good. That's the good thing about S chassis. So easy to get angle out of them. All you need is a gktech roll correction kit, rack spaces, and you're golden, man. Like, look at that. Just from those two easy bolt-on mods. It is a bit of an annoying job if you don't have a hoist and you're doing it on the driveway floor, but you'll be alright. If I can do it, you guys can do it. So if you've got an S chassis, I highly recommend getting yourself a roll correction kit and rack spaces, because look how much angle you can make, man, just from that. So sick. Once I move the R33 out of the way, I can show you guys the new angle as I drive in the driveway. We might go around the corner and test it out quickly. The wheel alignment should be fine. I've got the wheels as straight as I can. They're not going to have any issues turning around corners and that, so I'll be perfectly fine. And now with the glass door, I don't know if you guys remember, but I said I was going to rip out that glass door because now I'm going to start working in the garage. I've been cleaning the garage out, so when it's hard rubbish day, chucking out all the big rubbish out of the garage, and finally we're going to have some nice workspace in the garage right there. It's going to be so good because when it rains, I can put half of my car in, jack it up, put the stands on, and finally work undercover without being rained on for once. Now with this RB25, I thought I'd let you guys know that with these injectors, they are stock, they are maxed out, and I've got Denso 555cc side feed injectors to put into this, getting a GTR R35 MAF put in, keeping the turbo. I'm going to do ARP head studs, metal head gasket, refresh a few things, and we should be pushing about anywhere from 260 to 300 kilowatts. That's the most I want out of this car because this car has been stripped. This S14 is really light, and with the amount of power this RB25 is making in it, it's plenty for drifting. So I can't wait to make more power out of this. Keep the screamer pipe set up, no blow off valve because I love dosing this car. I thought I'd show you what I'm going to do with the inside of the S14. The car was originally red, sprayed it matte black, so I'm just going to spray the floor pans black because there's no point spending like $300 on floor carpet when this is just a track car. So this is going to be sprayed black. The gearbox tunnel is going to be sprayed white. This roll cage is coming out because it's not CAMS approved, which sucks. I do like the Jap spec cages, but it has to come out. Get a CAM approved half cage made, so I'm going to get a bolt-in cage made for this. The battery is going to get relocated behind me, so it's going to be in a boxing behind the bucket seat. We're going to get side skirts, we're going to get a roof spoiler, we're going to get a new spoiler, put a Clutch Kick Junkies logo along that duck lip spoiler, so it should look sick. The front part of the car, I want to spray gold, which fades into the back half of the car black. So I want to try and make the gold fade into black, so that should look pretty sick. Give the S14 a new look. We're also going to get new wheels. These D-hole wheels are going to be used as skidders. So I've got a bunch of skidders for the S14, but I've got to pick up some new wheels to make this S14 look good. But the problem is I'm trying to find the perfect offset. So I want like something 17:9, anything more plus 22. So anything more than plus 22, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to make sure I find something and get some new wheels for the S14. And my R33's got the fake Defi gauges here, yeah? So I'm going to put them in this car because I'm going to get a Haltech screen for the R33. Clean up all this wiring, put some more gauges in there as well. And I've also got a new tachometer I want to put around here as well, so it should look sick. So this car's going to start looking more of a track car very soon. I'm just doing like all the basic stuff because when I bought this car, it was pretty much bone stock. This car was an absolute mess, and there was an event last year, I think it was last year, around September. I had 1 month to get this car drift ready. It was far from drift ready. So if you guys haven't seen those videos, make sure to go down the channel. You'll see videos of me pretty much smashing out all the drift things that you need for a track event in this car in 1 month, and I smashed it out, got it tuned, and we made 235 kilowatts with the stock map and stock injectors, which is pretty good. So it started raining, so I thought I'd take the R33 for a little spin. You never get tired of that sound, man. Every time this car doses, hits gate, I always smile, man. I'm so glad I built this car. I'm just really happy I rebuilt this engine. If you guys have got an RB25, I highly recommend building it up, going external gate, blocking that blow-off valve, and go have some fun. So I'm just heading back home at the moment. I'm going to park my car to the side so we can take the S14 out, and I'll show you guys a new angle in the driveway because I don't want to risk driving on the street at the moment because I just seen 2 cop cars, so I got to be careful with that shit. So let's go back home and test out the new angle in the driveway. Alright, the clip you guys just saw, I don't want to film too much outside my street, but do you know how you do a 3-point turn to do a U-turn in a street? Well, this car doesn't need to do a 3-point turn anymore, it just does a 1-point turn. I can't believe how crazy this new angle setup is. I actually just full clocked it. This car was actually doing 360 spins in a street. How crazy is that? I definitely need to get some more outside footage of the S14 soon. I've got no one to help me film at the moment. I don't want to film outside my street. And as I said, I did see a few cop cars out on the road, so I don't want to take the risk of going into side streets in this thing. But I'm so happy with this new setup. Oh my God, man. The angle of just doing a U-turn in a street and doing the 360 turns of full lock, that is so mental, man. So the next track event, I'm going to be very excited to test out the new setup on track. And to be honest, like once I get more seat time and start throwing backies, this new setup is definitely going to handle backies, man. I can't wait for that. And with the S14, I'm just waiting for a few days of good weather so that way I can spray the back part of the S14 gloss black, the front part gold, and make it fade into the black. Trust me, it's going to look sick. I'm just waiting for a few days of good weather and we'll get it sorted. Alright guys, this is going to be the end of the video. There's not much to do left for this video, so I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. Thank you guys so much for all the supportive comments you guys leave in all the videos. And if you're a new viewer, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps out with the channel. CKJ stickers, there's only about 10 left, so go to Big Cartel Clutch Kick Junkies, get yourself a sticker. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you guys for all the love and support. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Catch you guys later.